Hello and welcome to Reps to GOG. Today, we're going to be talking about both SSX and ESPN Winter X Games Snowboarding 2000. Why are we doing this? Well, for one, they both released on the same day, October 26, 2000, alongside the PS2's launch. And for two, they are both games about cutting through that pillowy white stuff at high speeds, but with clashing design philosophies. Is what I would have said if I had actually held true to this premise. Turns out, reviewing two games at once doubles the amount of time you have to work on it. The folly of man and whatnot. I just need to include this preface because it seems like I'm comparing ESPN Winter X Games Snowboarding to SSX, and it's because I am. I still played a good amount of SSX, so I don't feel the need to restructure this, even though I'm indirectly comparing the two games. What do you know about snowboarding? When I first started playing Winter X games, my answer to that question was, it's like skateboarding, but with snow. As I dove into interviews from back in the early 2000s and gleaned a little bit more of the culture, I realized that I had missed a very important detail. It's like snowboarding, but with snow, off a mountain. The culture of extreme sports is one that involves a lot of risk, and the reward is that once you pull off that trick that you've been practicing for months, you look cool, you feel cool, and you are cool. You've achieved something, and that's awesome. Now imagine you're a snowboarding enthusiast. You hear that there's a cool new snowboarding game on the block and it's piqued your interest. You check out some gameplay and you see the on-screen avatar jutting around in midair whilst spinning uncontrollably as the trick descriptors look increasingly more like arcane runes as the moment goes on. You shake your head in disgust as the on-screen avatar flawlessly nails the 2080 half-vert, full-vert, superfly McTwist, Nollie Supreme Chicken Bone McRib. This is nothing like real snowboarding, you say to yourself, because that's what people do when they're alone and not because it helps my narrative. I wish there was a game that was like real snowboarding. Well, ESPN Winter X Games Snowboarding is trying its little heart out to be realistic. Winter X Games greets you with a high-octane FMV snowboarding montage along with a few options to choose from. X Games mode is exactly what it sounds like. You'll have the options to choose from a bunch of different professional snowboarders from the time and compete in various X Games snowboarding events. Snowboarder mode is a career mode of sorts, more on that later. Session mode is the multiplayer section, which allows you to do either races with multiple controllers or style competitions with one controller. And finally, movie mode has a selection of FMVs sponsored by various different snowboarding brands for you to watch. Snowboarder mode will start you out by allowing you to create your own snowboarder. You're able to edit a few options such as height and weight, your name, and a choice between like 8 different heads and 2 body types. None of these have any effect on gameplay, so it's mostly for immersion and scoreboard display. I named myself and got along with it. After creating Shiggy Diggy, or as his friends call him, Shigs, you're sent to the snowboarder mode hub. You're able to edit your equipment here and change a few other extraneous settings like your board stance. However, in order to get new gear to dress up your avatar, you'll need to get a sweet cash flow. How do snowboarders make money, you ask? Well, let's head on down to the lounge and find out. Alright, hold up. Just look at this. This is awesome. I love this little boxman lobby system. You can talk to people around the lounge who will tell you how things are going, you can buy things, and it also serves as a sort of base of operations for you to continue your snowboarding career. It's also the worst thing about the game. More on that later. You see, you are playing the role of a snowboarder who is trying to hit it big. Do what professional snowboarders do. Get sponsored, make snowboarding movies, and compete at the highest level. You need to earn money and acclaim by winning low-level competitions so that you can pay the entry fees for the higher-level ones. Do well enough at these competitions and a sponsor might notice you. They'll let you wear their gear free of charge so long as you continue to do well and rep their brand. You can also shoot stunt videos. These will get you paid based on how well you perform, so nail cool tricks and your pockets will feel fuller for it. So now you should have a pretty good idea of the core gameplay loop. Work on getting money so that you can participate in higher level competitions, so that you can get sponsored by brands, so that you can spend less money on cosmetic gear. My first jump into the actual gameplay of ESPN Winter X Games Snowboarding went a little bit like, ah yes, snowboarding. Oh god, there are rocks everywhere. Why is my camera so low to the ground? I can't see what's in front of me. Oh, that's a cliff. That is to say, this is a game with a relatively steep learning curve. You need to know to jump at the right time, you need to plan your route, and you need to plan your tricks before you even jump. As I got a better grip on the controls, I eventually got to a point where I was able to complete maps with pretty alright scores. There are a few different types of competitions. Slopestyle, which is a freestyle type game mode where there are grind rails and such. Time Attack, which is pretty much a race to get to the end of the course. And Super Pipe, which is pretty much just 3 giant rows of half pipe. You need to get first, second, or third place to get any money out of these deals, so expect to grind your knuckles against them for a while until you get good enough to be able to do so. This is why I consider the lounge the worst part of this game. If you were practicing a map and you wanted to reset the map so that you could try again, you'd have to go all the way back through to the lounge, come back in, and start again. This takes approximately 1 full minute of loading and cutscenes. Certain stages take like 80 seconds to complete, so around 43% of the game is taken up by just trying to get back into the game. It's pretty egregious. While I understand that this game is shooting for semi-realistic, I'm pretty sure there's a proverb for this situation. Don't let realism get in the way of a good video game. Here's the thing. I don't hate the idea of a snowboarding game that's trying to emulate the life of a would-be snowboarding star. It makes sense, it's a cool thing to explore, but forcing me to spend a huge portion of my time waiting around to get back into the immersive aspects kinda ruins the appeal. Speaking on the simmy nature of this game, I'd like to take a moment to talk about how the game feels to play. I really like how you feel when you're in the air. I like the weightiness of your turns and your spins. I like how I feel like I'm gonna break my legs from the sheer gravity of the jump I just took. There are a few things that I feel could be improved upon. Visually speaking, I have no idea how fast I'm going at any given time. ESPN Winter X Games Snowboarding has 2 speeds as far as I can tell. Normal jacket speed and interlaced fluttery jacket speed. These 2 speeds don't feel different, they're just the only thing that's visually represented. I never feel like I'm ripping down a slope like a speed demon, even when I'm going completely straight. There are tons of gaps in this game that you can jump over where this matters, a lot, and you can't judge whether you have enough speed to clear the gap or if you should divert to another route. There's also the matter of the rocky areas. If you so much as touch them, you go from normal speed to, oh god, please get me out of here speed. So I guess there are 3 speeds. I'm no mathematician, but I'm pretty sure if you hit these rocks at this speed, you'd be more likely to be sent tumbling to your death than you would be to slow down. ESPN Winter X Games is not an arcadey game. If you hit these rails, you're not gonna magnetize and keep going. You gotta prepare to land on them and ride them. This is interesting enough and requires forethought to pull off, so why is the map designed like a death trap? I think the map design is very hit or miss. I like a good deal of the maps that are used for filming videos and a few of the slopestyle maps. The other ones are either strange and ill-fitting or have visibility issues. There's also just weird lighting in some maps, like this one where the entire map is lit yellow, which is fine, it's like the pale yellow of moonlight, I get it, but then there are random areas of said map where there are just splotches of red light. Like, you're riding through a nice moonlit night and then suddenly you're driving your car through California in August. There's also the fact that there aren't really a lot of different maps. 4 filming sets and 3 of each type of map for competition. I kinda wish there were more. If you save up enough money, you're able to do other things for fun, such as buying lift passes or a helicopter ride so that you can skate down the mountain in the free roam mode. This is probably where I had the most fun, just riding down different slopes, doing tricks, not having to worry about loading screens or bottomless pits or anything like that. I might have enjoyed grinding out money so that I could dress up my character in a bunch of different jackets and boards and whatnot, but you don't even get to see the new clothes on your character model in the shop. It looks more like a magazine trying to sell me snowboarding clothes than an actual game feature. Is it simulation-like? Sure. Is it conducive to a good experience? I don't think so. Winter X Games' biggest saving grace is its soundtrack. It's so good that I can't even include it in this video because the eldritch DMCA gods will smite me down if I do. The soundtrack really brings the energy. Go listen to some of the songs included. They pretty much speak for themselves. If I just wanted to hop on and get right into the action, I could, via the X Games mode. I can't say that this is where the meat of the game is, because that's the snowboarding mode. X Games mode is more like the garlic and herb mashed potatoes with pork gravy of the game. It's probably the best part of the game, but it doesn't satiate in the same way that meat is meant to. There's only so many times you can go through the same maps over and over again, doing the same 6 tricks before it gets tiring. You can play as your favorite X Games snowboarders in this mode, but aside from just playing as your favorite dude, it doesn't really make any tangible difference. I definitely could not play this game mode for any extended period of time. If you ever need a breather from perpetual loading screens and weird food analogies, you could go to the movie mode and take a gander at some of the FMVs that are available to you. It seems like most of the major brands put together their own snowboarding movie for your wanting eyes. I actually really like extras like these in video games. They especially let me get into the mind of a snowboarding fan excitedly checking out some of the movies that came with their brand new game. ESPN Winter X Games Snowboarding is probably not the game you're looking for if you just want to relax and mess around with a fun little snowboarding game. It's trying to encompass the breadth of the professional snowboarding scene and expects you to put in the work to experience that. The learning curve is a bit steep, so by the time I'd gotten a pretty solid grasp on controls, I was already disillusioned by the repetitiveness of the gameplay loop. There aren't enough maps to make you feel like you're really progressing as you unlock new ones, and the other money sinks, such as the clothing options, aren't really alluring enough to drive me to unlock them. It's got a lot of unique and interesting features, such as the sponsorship program and the lounge area, and even a weather system that changes in free roam mode. However, these are all secondary features that can't really pull the weight that the core game needs to. With all that said, would I recommend you play ESPN Winter X Games Snowboarding 2000 for the PlayStation 2? Probably not. Thanks for watching. I'd also like to take a moment to thank the glorious people over on my Patreon, Keep On Keepin' On. If you'd like to check that out, you can get early access to my scripts, watch the video a day early, and I also provide copies of my save files when I review a game. I also have a Discord server and a Twitter. If you'd like to be notified about new releases, those are the places to be. Once again, thank you for watching.